My name is Kevin Turner. I'm 30 years old and I work as a remote IT support technician in Illinois. I'm used to being alone. Late nights, quiet rooms, the glow of a computer screen. None of it ever bothered me. In fact, I enjoyed the silence. That changed the weekend my family left town, and I stayed home by myself. It was supposed to be simple. 2 nights alone in the house I grew up in. A quiet break. The first evening was normal. I ordered food, watched TV, and worked a little. The house felt familiar, safe. But sometime after midnight, the silence started to feel heavy. At 12:38 a.m., I heard a sound upstairs, a soft thump. I paused the TV and listened. The house settled, like old houses do. I told myself it was nothing. But then I heard it again, slow footsteps moving from my parents' bedroom toward the hallway. I held my breath. "Hello?" I called out. No answer. I checked my phone. No missed calls, no messages. Everyone was hours away. I grabbed a flashlight and slowly walked toward the stairs. The house felt colder the higher I climbed. When I reached the hallway, every door was closed. Every door except mine. I knew I had closed it earlier. I pushed it open and scanned the room. Nothing was out of place. But the air felt wrong, stale, like someone else had been breathing there for a long time. As I turned to leave, I heard a whisper from behind me. "Kevin?" It was quiet, calm, close. I spun around. The room was empty. My heart was racing now. I went back downstairs and locked the doors, even though I knew that wouldn't help. I sat on the couch, trying to distract myself, but the house wouldn't let me. Pipes knocked. Floorboards creaked. Then at 1:17 a.m., my phone buzzed. A notification from the home security app. Motion detected, upstairs hallway. I stared at the screen. The cameras were on. I hadn't gone upstairs. I opened the live feed. At first I saw nothing, just the dark hallway. Then slowly, something moved into view. A tall shape standing at the far end near my parents' room. It didn't walk. It leaned forward, like it was sliding closer. The feed cut to black. At that exact moment, I heard footsteps above me. Faster now, heavier. I stood up, shaking. "This isn't funny!" I shouted, even though I knew no one was there. The footsteps stopped. Then a voice came from the top of the stairs. "You shouldn't be awake." The lights went out. In the darkness, I heard breathing, not mine. Something else's, slow and patient. I backed toward the front door, fumbling for the lock. The breathing followed me, moving through the house without footsteps. Right behind me. I yanked the door open and ran into the night without shoes, without my phone, without looking back. I didn't stop until I reached a neighbor's house down the street. The police searched my home later that night. They found nothing. No signs of forced entry. No one inside. But when I returned the next morning, something had changed. On the inside of my bedroom door, carved deep into the wood, were words I didn't write. "You left me alone." If you're watching this video right now, remember, being alone doesn't always mean being by yourself. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. My name is Jason Miller. I'm 34 years old, and I work as a software engineer in Michigan. I've always preferred quiet nights at home, especially on weekends when the city is empty. But one night, staying alone in my house turned into a nightmare I'll never forget. It was a cold Saturday evening. My family had gone out for a weekend trip, leaving me alone in our 2-story home. I was looking forward to a quiet night of reading and gaming. Everything was peaceful until midnight. I heard a faint creaking upstairs. At first, I thought it was just the house settling, but then the sound came again, closer this time. Slow, deliberate steps across the hardwood floor. My bedroom is on the first floor. Nobody should have been up there. I grabbed my phone and flashlight and slowly walked to the staircase. The steps stopped. Silence. I called out, "Is anyone there?" Nothing. Then, the temperature dropped sharply. My breath became visible, even inside the heated house. I shivered, but I forced myself to continue. I climbed the stairs, every floorboard groaning under my weight. At the top, I noticed something unusual. My bedroom door, which I had locked earlier, was slightly open. The hallway was empty, but at the end, a shadow moved. Tall, thin, with no distinguishable features, just dark, stretching form. A whisper came from behind me. "Jason!" I spun around. Nothing. My bedroom window was closed. No doors had been opened. Yet I felt someone watching, just beyond my peripheral vision. I ran back downstairs, but the shadow followed. Never walking, never making sound, just appearing closer each time I glanced back. The living room clock struck 12:37 a.m., and the television turned on by itself, displaying static. The static slowly formed a shape, a human-like figure with hollow eyes staring straight at me. I grabbed my keys and bolted out the front door into the cold night, never looking back. I spent the rest of the night at a neighbor's house, too scared to return. The next morning, when I finally went back, everything seemed normal. But written faintly on my bedroom mirror were the words, "You are never alone." That night changed the way I see being home alone forever. Sometimes the house is not empty. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. My name is Samantha Hayes. I'm 27 years old, and I work as a freelance graphic designer in Oregon. I've always loved quiet nights at home, especially when everyone else is out. But one weekend, staying alone in my apartment turned into the most terrifying experience of my life. It was a Friday evening. My roommates had gone out of town, leaving me with the apartment entirely to myself. I ordered takeout, set up my laptop, and planned a night of movies. Everything was normal. Until around 11:45 p.m., when I heard a faint tapping on my window. I froze. My apartment was on the second floor. There was no way anyone could reach it. I shrugged it off as a branch brushing against the glass. But the tapping continued, slow and deliberate. Tap, tap, tap. Then came the whispering. At first I thought I was imagining it, but the sound grew louder. "Samantha." I grabbed a flashlight and slowly approached the window. Nothing. Just the dark city street below. My heart was racing, but I tried to convince myself it was nothing. I went back to my couch and tried to focus on the movie. Then I heard it again. But this time it wasn't coming from the window. It was coming from the apartment itself. Footsteps in the hallway. Slow. Heavy. Not the way I walked. I told myself to stay calm. I called out, "Hello? Who's there?" No answer. The footsteps stopped outside my bedroom door. I held my breath. The doorknob rattled. Then a voice, low and cold, whispered, "Don't turn around." I couldn't move. My body was frozen. My laptop screen flickered, and the reflection showed a shadow behind me. A tall, thin figure, standing silently. Its head tilted unnaturally as if watching me. I bolted. I ran out of the apartment into the stairwell, heart pounding. When I reached the lobby, the doors were locked. I ran to the emergency exit, finally spilling out onto the street. I didn't stop until I was several blocks away, safe under the streetlights. The next day, when I returned with the police, Everything inside the apartment looked normal. No sign of forced entry. Nothing moved. But on my living room mirror, written in condensation, were two words: alone. Forever. Being home alone that night taught me a lesson. Sometimes, you're never really alone. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 28 years old and I work as a freelance editor in New York State. I've always enjoyed living alone. It's quiet, peaceful, and gives me space to focus. But one weekend, being alone at home became the most terrifying experience of my life. It was a Friday evening. My roommates were out of town and I had the apartment to myself. I lit some candles, set up my laptop, and planned a relaxing night. Everything was calm until around 11:50 p.m. when I heard a soft knock on my front door. I froze. I live on the 3rd floor. Nobody should have been able to reach my door. I called out, "Who's there?" No answer. I peeked through the peephole. Empty hallway. Just the flickering light from the exit sign. I tried to convince myself it was nothing and returned to my room. A few minutes later, I heard something behind me. A whisper. "Emily?" I spun around. My apartment was empty. Heart racing, I checked all the windows. Locked. No one inside. Then the lights flickered. My laptop turned off by itself. The temperature dropped sharply and my breath became visible in the dim candlelight. I could hear footsteps moving slowly across the floor, circling my living room. I grabbed my phone and dialed a friend, but the line was dead. Then I heard a voice near my ear. "Don't be scared. I've been waiting." I ran to the door, fumbled with my keys, and finally unlocked it. I sprinted down the stairs and out into the street. I didn't stop until I reached a neighbor's apartment building across the street. The next morning, I returned with the police. There was no sign of forced entry. No one had been inside. But on my bathroom mirror, written in condensation, were the words, "I'm always here." From that night on, I never felt truly alone in my apartment again. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.